Hello everyone, today I'm here to share with you all of the books I read in June, and it's a lot. I know you're looking at my shelves and they look very bare right now. That's because I just literally filmed all the books I've read in 2018 so far, so that video is coming very soon, but a lot of the books I've read this year are behind me, so that's why it looks so bare, and there's books everywhere on my floor right now, like it's bad. I read 10 books in June, which is great. I'm doing really good so far these past couple months with reading a lot, and a lot of the books I've read in June I really enjoyed. As always, I'm going to start with my least favorite book, working up to my favorite. Always, any reviews I've done on these books, which I think I have reviewed every single book I talked about today in a video, I will link down below. First up, I want to talk about Ash Princess by Sebastian. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, so I think it's a pretty good month for me when I had no books like under 3, so I think it's pretty good. This is a YA fantasy book all about a girl that her mother was the queen and she gets murdered when she's very young, and this girl becomes like the Ash Princess because the Kaiser that killed her mother keeps her around to like show her about all the evil things he's doing. And basically this book is about her reclaiming the throne. It is full of YA tropes and things like that and a love triangle, but I did enjoy it. It flew by very fast. I feel like there was a lot more that could have been explained in this book as far as the backstory, the magic system, things like that, but I did find it enjoyable. I said in my matcha review, because I do have a matcha review of this, I don't know if I'll continue on with the series. It depends on how many books it will be. If it's a duology, probably I'll continue on. If it's a trilogy or more, maybe not. I mean, it's just a YA fantasy book. I feel like I've read this book before. It's kind of like full of tropes, like I keep saying, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, but I don't find it very rememberable, which is why it got a 3.5 out of 5. So I have 4 other books that also I gave a 3.5 out of 5 to, so I don't think these are in any order. I don't know if this video is going to be very out of place for me, because I feel like I'm kind of out of place because I have books everywhere and I'm just kind of disorganized, which is not myself at all, so forgive me for this one video being very awkward. So the next book I guess I want to talk about is How to Walk Away by Catherynne. This is an adult chick lit book about a woman that has her life mapped out for her. She's happy, and then a big tragic accident happens to her and it changes her future, honestly, and it's about the repercussions of that and how her relationship and her life are very different from what she thought they were. And that's all I can tell you about it because I feel like I would spoil it. I do have a matcha review for this one, as well as every book I talk about. I'll link them down below. I like this one. I'd say this is a very quick, fast read. I did like the message it was conveying, so I did enjoy it for that, but it's not a rememberable book for me. Like, I don't think I'm gonna ponder about this book occasionally, but I did like it. It brought a smile to my face. Like I said, I enjoyed the message that it portrayed, and overall, I found it to be a really cute chick lit, so I do recommend it in case you are a chick lit junkie and you want to read all of the chick lit, and I think this would be a great one for you. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Like, it's a solid book. It's just not one of my favorites, but I do enjoy it. Books that I enjoyed, but that just weren't my favorite, sadly, is Save the Date by Matson. I am the unpopular opinion here in rating this at a 3.5 out of 5. All the reviews I've seen have either given this a 4 or a 5, and I am one that I liked it, I didn't love it, and I go into very detail about why I didn't love it in my review of it, but basically this is about a girl named Charlie who has 4 older siblings, and her sister is getting married, and so they all come home, and it's about her sister's wedding weekend. It's basically a book that if something can go wrong, it goes wrong. Basically this whole book is about a big, like, something goes wrong and then they fix it, and something goes wrong and they fix it, and then it just keeps continuing on. Like, the dog eats the cake, the electricity goes out. You know, kind of the classic hijink movie where it's a wedding. I feel like every wedding movie I see, like, everything happens like in a disaster, which is so weird because I work in the wedding industry and there are some things that happen that kind of go wrong because that happens on every wedding. I think there's no wedding that goes off flawlessly, but there's not a wedding that I have done, and I've done like 30 to 40 of them, that there's been this much of like chaos in the wedding. But I know it's obviously a work of fiction, not real life, but I think just for the sheer fact of, because I work in the wedding industry, like, I think that's why maybe I didn't enjoy this book, because I was like, really? But that's, I mean, that's on me, not the book. I mean, Morgan Matson does great with writing a great family relationship. I love the fact that it was about a family that was kind of strained and them coming together on this very chaotic, crazy weekend. So I'd say if you're big into weddings, check this one out. Like I know I say, it doesn't really portray the wedding community right, but I mean, it's a cute book about weddings. Of course, it ends nice and it's kind of cookie cutter, but I mean, I liked it, but I just didn't love it for the sheer fact of how much anxiety it gave me because everything that could go wrong went wrong in a huge big way. Again, 3.5 from Twinkle with Love by Sanan Menon. I do say that I liked her previous book, When Diplomat Rishi, a little bit more, but I still like this one as well. This is about Twinkle, who is wants to be a director, and she gets a chance to direct like a female version of Dracula, and she's really crushing hard on this boy named Neil, and she actually starts working with Neil's twin brother's heel, and I think you can guess what happens from there. I did enjoy this book. It was cute. It brought a smile to my face, and I think I didn't love it because the characters in this book were 16 and 17, and they would often get into predicaments and get into fights and make complications to things that I didn't think were necessary. But then again, I am not 16. I am far from 16. Goodness me. But I had those same feelings when I was 16. So I feel like I couldn't really relate to this book, which is why I didn't love it as much, because there was so much drama and things like that. But still, I love her writing style. Overall, like I said, a really cute and adorable read. Just I think I liked When Diplomat Rishi a little bit more. I gave a 3.5, I don't know, 3.75 out of 5 is My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan. This is an adult chick lit book as well. It's about a girl that is from Ohio, and she gets a Rhodes Scholarship, and she goes to Oxford to study for a year. And then she meets a guy, and this guy is hiding a really big secret, and it's all about that. I did really enjoy this. This book is being compared a lot to Me Before You. People are saying it's a ripoff of Me Before You. It's too similar to Me Before You. I don't know if I agree with that because I feel like the plots are very, very different. The only, like, I see a couple things of how it's similar to Me Before You. Number one, it's set in England. Number two, kind of, the male character's predicament is kind of similar, not 100% at all, but I feel like they are very, very different books. And I don't know. So I'd say if you hated Me Before You, I think you would like this. I say if you love Me Before You, I think you would like this. I love the romance. I loved reading about Oxford, and I didn't love how serious it got and how it almost made me cry several times. But just know this is not a light chick lit. It's definitely a heartbreaking type of one, but one full of hope, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but I enjoyed it. Like, I liked it a lot, so I would recommend it. Like, just know that it's not gonna be all happy smiles and stuff. There's gonna be tears. Trust you me, there's gonna be tears. Next up, I have Fury Bore by Clara Lagron, which I gave a 4 out of 5. This is the first book in the Emperor trilogy, and this book, I did like it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but there's a lot of complaints I have with it, coincidentally, which I think, like, why am I giving it a 4 out of 5? Overall, because it was enjoyable, it was a fast-paced read, and I was kind of addicted to it. I don't know why. This book is, this is hard to explain. This book basically is set in 2 time periods, like 1,000 years apart. So in the past, we have this character named Raelle who has all of these powers, and she exposes herself to save the crown prince, who she's very, very close to. And exposing herself with all of these powers, people realize that she might be one of the prophesized queens, because in this book, there has always been 2 queens that have been prophesized, one of blood and one of sun. So Raelle has to endure all of these many trials to prove that she is Sun Queen. So that's about her basis of the story. And then 1,000 years later, we follow a character named Elena, who is a bounty hunter, and she's very, very dark. And basically her mother goes missing, and she has to team up with like this, I don't know, type of Robin Hood type of character almost that's doing good for the people, and you learn more about her. You can pretty much guess what's going to happen. I liked this book, but it was action, 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 which I enjoyed because it made it a fast read, but I don't feel like we got a lot of world building. I don't think we got a lot of backstory, and I don't think we got a lot of dialogue because of all the action that we got. So that's where it kind of took away from me. Also, the 2 main characters, I definitely loved Raelle's story more because it was more interesting. I don't necessarily think Raelle's character is better than Elena, but I enjoyed her story more because it was just more interesting to me. Elena's storyline was interesting, but I just kind of would go back and forth with the POVs, like hoping to get to Raelle's because I found that much more compelling. So I think I definitely will continue off this trilogy. It's a trilogy. Yes, it says trilogy, Heather. Good job. But I want more from the second book. This one I enjoyed. I love the way it ended, and I want to see how it's going to wrap up, and I want to see hopefully more dialogue, more backstory, and more world building. So I'd say this book's been getting a lot of buzz lately, and I was honestly, when I went into it, I was hoping to give it a 5 out of 5 because I was just like, I've heard so many good things about this book. I think it's going to be amazing. So it was kind of a letdown for me in that regard, but nevertheless, I still enjoyed it. So I want to talk about, I also gave a 4.5 out of 5. So I would just talk about the fantasy because I'm on a fantasy roll, and that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. I loved it. I thought it was great. This is basically all about, it's a South African inspired novel about this character named Zele whose mom was murdered because she was a magi, and magic has been extinct because this evil king has ruled it, and there is a chance for magic to come back again. So Zele goes on a mission with the princess of the evil king and her brother to go restore magic, and it's basically a big story journey from there. So I really enjoyed it. The only reason it didn't get a full 5 out of 5 for me is I didn't love the romance in this book, and I often felt there was a little bit too much action and not enough dialogue. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. This book's definitely been getting a lot of buzz lately because of the awesome book that it is. It also just won the Jimmy Fallon summer reading thing, which I'm so excited about because this book needs to be read more because I thought it was amazing, especially if you're a Black Panther fan. This is like Black Panther with magic. So it was so much fun and amazing, and I really enjoyed it, and I like to read more from this author and to read more from this story. I don't want to talk too much about it because I feel like I could just gush about it for a lot because it was just such an enjoyable read. The book I also gave a 4.5 out of 5 to is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. This is a YA contemporary book that I just loved and devoured. Casey West is one of my favorite contemporary authors. This is about a girl that basically gets to work at this podcast, and she gives out advice, and this guy calls in, and it's just all so adorable. And of course things happen exactly the way you think they're gonna happen, but goodness me, did I smile while reading this? Yes, I did. I loved it. I think it's one of my favorite Casey West books, and I've read all of her books. So I thought it was great and adorable. Definitely a perfect summer read. It's still July, so take this with you to the beach, the lake, road trip, whatever you want to do. This is a perfect summer read for that. I liked it. Lastly, very at the end of June, I just finished this book the last day of June, and that is A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 because, oh, so good, so intense. I forgot how intense these books are. I know this one had so many amazing things in it. This is the 3rd book in the Ember and the Ashes series, and I don't know if it's my favorite. I want to say it's my favorite because it was just so good. There were so many plot twists in this book that I did not see coming. I feel like as of lately, I'm pretty good with plot twists. I can see where they're coming, but there was this one huge plot twist in this book that I was like, I've never read a book where my jaw, except for probably Harry Potter, or my jaw was like I'm talking about dropped. I was like, what? I did not see that coming. I was mad that I didn't see it coming, but it was amazing. And the cliffhanger, so good. I will film a full video review on this book very soon. I'm still trying to get my thoughts together, but I loved it. In case you're still wondering, as far as my favorite characters, my favorite, as always, is my girl Helen. Helen is amazing. I thought that a lot more people loved her, but I'm alone in that. I feel like I love Helen. I think she's strong. I think she's compassionate. I think she's an amazing character. I love Elias. I did kind of really enjoy Laya in this book, which, if known, I've read this series. I haven't been the biggest fan of Laya because it's been all lovey-dovey and things like that, but in this book I really felt like we got to know her more, and I liked her a lot more in this book. But my queen is always going to be Helen. I love her. So in case you're hesitant to pick up this series, because I know it's been getting a lot of hype, I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite fantasy series by far. I love how much action it has in it. I love how much plot twist to have in it. I do love the romance for the majority of it. There is one romance that blossomed in this book that I did not think I was gonna like, but I loved it. I just love this book for so many things. Strong female characters, a rebellion, a good villain, So many amazing things about this book. I need to stop talking about it because I can gush about it for a while. So those are all the books I read in June. Quite a lot. I think it was a really good reading month for me. I read a lot of fantasy. So if you've read any of these books I talked about today, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.